Hello everybody, this is Gregory with How I Lost Over 100 Pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitancy in your weight loss and weight maintenance. Today I'm going to give you some tips on how to navigate through a potluck or a party that you're going to. Now before I begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website, which has hundreds of articles and recipes, my 2 books which are on Amazon, my new movie podcast called The Cinema Rag, which you can find on Spotify or Apple. And lastly, if you appreciate my content, there's a link for PayPal. So on occasion, you might go to a party or a function, and as a whole, you might have a really good routine at your house. And like, habits are good because the more habits you do, you build up a kind of a resistance to the habits, and it's the opposite with vices. So you do want to have a reoccurring kind of routine, especially when it comes to your diet. But at the same time, we don't want to be orthorexics where the routine obsesses you and you only end up eating 5 things the rest of your life. So you do want to have a good routine, but at the same time, you're going to be going to functions, you're going to be going to potlucks, you're going to be going to events. And what do you do at that time? Because you're not going to be able necessarily to control the quality of the food. So like if you're really big into organic and so forth, lots of times when you go to these parties, they're not going to be having that stuff. And also they're just going to have a wide variety perhaps of sweets, either high quality or low quality. And just typically potlucks and parties are going to have junkier food. So how do you navigate through this? Well, I think a couple of things. We do have a similar video on how to get through Christmas and Thanksgiving days. So I think some of the strategies that I talk about there could be implemented here as well. And also, I've talked about in the episode, there's no such thing as good or bad food. And I've also talked about it in the episode on the fundamental difference between weight loss and weight maintenance. So if you're going to a function, I think it is smart to plan ahead, but it's also okay to eat the food there and indulge. We don't want to have this idea like, I can never eat a cookie ever again. We don't want to live that life. Now that mindset can work in weight loss mode, but weight maintenance mode is a completely different paradigm, which we've talked about here before, and I'll try to remember to put the banner in there for it. If not, just search it on the homepage. It's a fundamental difference. So if you're in weight maintenance and you're going to a potluck, prep. But when you're there, eat the food. Now, personally for me, I'm not a potlucky person. There's something about me where, especially if it's like casseroles and the way they come in the foil plates and all that, I cannot eat potluck food. And even though I know probably that person's kitchen is cleaner than Taco Bell, I have an issue with potluck warm foods. I don't really have an issue with potluck desserts. So let's talk about the first part. Let's prep. So if you eat pretty well and you know you're going to go to a function, either an event at somebody's home, or let's say you're going to a party, like a formal party, what are the preps beforehand? Well, work out that day, obviously. Drink a lot of water, because that's going to fill you up. Because lots of times we think we're hungry when we're thirsty. And if you go to this event with already drinking a lot of water, you're less likely to overeat. Okay. What else can you do? Fast. You should be fasting. I would tell you to be fasting daily, but maybe on that day, prolong your fast later and just eat a small snack before the meal. Try to get to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And then again, it's all about weight loss, and weight maintenance is all about the amount of calories you're expending versus the amount of calories you're taking in. And then with the equation of exercise burning those calories. So if you just fast until the event or have a small meal, some nuts or whatever, something high fat, keto kind of thing, around 3 or 4 o'clock, then as a whole, then you have less calories that you've eaten that day, and therefore you have more calories that you can eat at that event. So these are just kind of simple little biohacks that make sense. So exercise, fast, drink a lot of water, and so forth. Okay, what about at the event? Well, look, as I talked about not that long ago, there's no reason to have that second serving of cake. If you have a second serving of cake, it demonstrates you still have a disordered eating relationship. So when you're at this event, like a lot of places, just get a little of everything, or get a little of everything that you like. Like for example, I'm not really big into roast beef. So if I'm at a place that has roast beef, I pass. I just don't like roast beef. But if you look at everything they have, just get a little of everything. Or if there's things that you really like if you're at a party that has steak, get a steak. And plus the steak will fill you up, so you're less likely to overeat. But I would just tell you, one portion of everything. Sample it, and that's it. When it comes to alcohol, if you drink alcohol, we have an episode here, it's one of the foundational episodes. I mean, one of the easiest ways to lose weight and to maintain it is just get rid of alcohol completely because it's empty calories. But again, if this is an event and if you like to drink, 1 serving of alcohol and that's it. Don't drink any sodas, obviously. And when it comes to desserts, minimal. So if you go to a place like a formal event and there's like 5 different desserts that you can choose from, just get a little of each. Or just get 1 regular serving of 1. We don't need to get 1 regular serving of 6 because again, that's gluttonous and you're overindulging. You don't need to do that. In terms of satisfying our taste buds, there's very little difference between a small portion of something and savoring that in a gigantic portion of that and you over savoring that and you're getting sick. So really you only need a little of everything. So guys, these are some tips that I would give you at the function is know where you're at. Like if you're on a good streak and you're losing weight and you've lost 40 pounds, then I would tell you probably be a little stricter that day, work out more fast, and then be a little more restrictive in what you're eating at this event. If you've lost a lot of your weight and you've kept it off for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, then at that point you hopefully have a pretty good relationship with food. You're not associating emotions with food and all the things we talk about here. And at that point, again, life's not worth living if you can't indulge in some of the tastier things in your life. So indulge in them, but just smaller portions and don't go back for seconds. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.